Now at 5, Pittsburgh is going red as the town prepares for Pitt State's first game of the season. Plus, the Newton County Sheriff's Office has a new tool to protect the community, and
President Biden is pledging full and immediate support to states in their recovery from Idalia. I'm Skyler Henry in Washington as skeptical lawmakers threaten a probe into the federal response to the Hawaii wildfires.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
warming up for the first football game of this season happening tomorrow. Pittsburgh today rolled out the red carpet for Paint the Town Red. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. More than 20 businesses joined the contest in 3 different categories, incorporating this year's theme, Lights, Camera, Gus. Half of the money raised from the participation fee will help offer scholarships to 2 Pitt State students who graduated from local high schools. Also joining the show, almost 15 departments and student organizations within the PSU campus.
When our businesses are decorated and people are out and about during the week and they see all the pride of Gorilla Nation throughout, I can imagine it's exciting for our students and our players. It's energizing.
I think they feel like they're home. They see that the university and the community are one and the same, and that they can go off campus and still feel as comfortable as if they were still on the Pitt State campus.
There's still more action to go. You can vote for the community favorite on the Pittsburgh Chamber of Commerce website until noon tomorrow. And tonight from 6 to 8, a community block party will be held in downtown Pittsburgh between 4th and 6th Streets. The Newton County, Missouri Sheriff's Office today unveiled this new piece of equipment, a Lenco Bearcat tactical vehicle. It'll be used by the Newton County Special Response Team. The new vehicle has a turret and a battering ram and is heavily armored. It'll be mostly used for drug search warrants, hostage situations, and felon arrest warrants.
It will serve all of our purposes well that we do in Newton County. We do probably 12 to 15 situations a year that we need a vehicle like this for. So it was definitely time we upgraded to get what we have here.
That new vehicle cost $287,000. It's being paid for through the Sheriff's Department's equipment budget and should be paid off within 2 years. Boy, another nice day out there. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, it turned out to be another good one. High temps, upper 80s to near 90 degrees, and that's pretty much where we stand right now. It's 85 in Stockton, 87 in Neosho. Grand Lake, 88. It's 90 in Parsons, but still the humidity isn't that bad. As we slide back through the evening, if you want to get outside, slide back through the 80s, 70s, eventually into the mid 60s. A little bit later on tonight, few little cumulus clouds kind of sneaking through, but besides that, not a whole bunch going on across the Central Plains, so we look pretty good. So as we go through the evening hours, slide back through the 70s, by midnight near 70, and then once we get toward morning, we'll drop into lower 60s. Slow warming trend into the holiday weekend. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
Catch you then. Idalia slammed into Florida's Big Bend region as a Category 3 hurricane this morning, packing maximum sustained winds of around 125 miles an hour. The storm's impact was felt the length of Florida's Gulf Coast, with storm surge that submerged entire communities. The power went out in more than 500,000 homes across Florida. By midday, about half had the lights back on. The White House says President Biden has received briefings about Hurricane Idalia and is offering assistance to the states dealing with the disaster. This comes as politicians in Congress are preparing to launch an investigation into Biden's response to the wildfire disaster in Maui. Reporter Skyler Henry has more details from Capitol Hill.
Even before Idalia landed in Florida with high winds, a strong storm surge, and flooding rains, the federal government started moving people and supplies into place to help with the recovery.
We surged personnel to Florida to help the state move people quickly to safety and out of a danger zone.
More than 1,500 personnel are already on the ground. as are more than 540 search and rescue professionals. They've also moved critical supplies to the area that are frequently in short supply after disasters, such as food and water.
Those are personnel that will integrate in with the state personnel to go see what the damages are. But we also use technology, right? We use aerial imagery and satellite technology, and we use our geospatial information to get a better idea so we don't have to physically put people out there.
Idalia comes as the federal government is still assisting Hawaii as it responds to the wildfires in Maui that killed at least 110 people. House Republicans have widely criticized the handling of the Hawaii wildfires, and they say they plan to launch a probe into the federal response. Congressman James Comer announced the investigation Tuesday with a statement saying the response by federal, state, and local officials to the catastrophic wildfire in Maui raises serious questions, and Americans, especially those impacted by this tragedy, deserve answers.
I'm happy to testify on what the federal role was in this process.
The Biden administration announced it'll spend $95 million to improve Hawaii's electrical grid to limit damage during future events. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
That $95 million for Hawaii's electrical grid is going to come out of the $1.2 billion bipartisan infrastructure law passed in 2021. Still ahead, the return of a largely forgotten skill.
A sewing revival. I'm Danya Backus with a look at the resurgence of a skill once learned in home economics.
And next in Health Watch, the story of a neurosurgeon getting quite the surprise when he operated on a patient's brain and pulled out a worm. Topping today's Health Watch, a new drug is showing promise at treating one of the major issues caused by Alzheimer's. Scientists at MIT say the new A11 molecule reduces inflammation in trials on human cells and significantly improves cognition in mice. Inflammation is one of the hardest parts of Alzheimer's to treat. The hope is the drug can one day help improve the memory of Alzheimer's patients. Hope you're not eating while you watch this next story. Surgeons in Australia removed a worm from a woman's brain, a worm that's typically found in pythons. Reporter Tina Kraus has this tale from down under.
I thought, gosh, that feels funny.
Neurosurgeon Harry Priya Bandy wasn't expecting what she found living inside a patient's brain.
And I thought, gosh, what is that? It's moving. Take it out of my hands.
That biopsy surprise in an operating room in Australia's capital city turned out to be a parasitic roundworm about 3 inches long. It's usually found in pythons.
Something this large, 8 centimeters, and wriggling around, and something that had never before been seen in a human being was certainly something we'll never forget.
The worm's 64-year-old unwitting host had been suffering with a mystery illness, experiencing stomach pains, fever, forgetfulness, and depression before finally going under the knife last year.
She was really pleased to have an answer. For many months she'd been really struggling, and it was really courageous of her to come and have further testing after not having answers for so very long.
Doctors documented the findings in a study out now in the CDC's Emerging Infectious Diseases Journal. The patient lives near a lake area that's home to carpet pythons and forages for native plants to cook. Doctors suspect she inadvertently consumed the parasitic eggs directly from the vegetation or indirectly with contaminated hands or kitchen equipment.
We have noted, however, that other snakes around the world carry this parasite. So it is quite likely that other new cases will be documented.
Doctors hope raising the profile of this lowly creature will help other healthcare workers around the world. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
Sounds like a science fiction horror movie. Doctors are staying in touch with that patient, as you might imagine, just to keep an eye on her recovery. If your child is misbehaving, well, lack of sleep might be at least part of the problem. An analysis of nearly 12,000 children by the University of Georgia finds kids who get less than 9 hours of sleep or take more than 30 minutes to get to sleep are more likely to display impulsive behaviors like acting without a plan, seeking thrills, or lacking perseverance. Doctors say the study highlights the importance of establishing sleep routines. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, our pet vet on call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Judik from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we've got a fun fact about mammals.
Plus, we're going to have a few chilly nights, but we are going to start to warm back up. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be another nice day for us today. Wednesday, we have mostly sunny skies, high temps, upper 80s to near 90 degrees, but the allergies are kind of high. So if you are an allergy sufferer, you're going to be suffering, especially the ragweed, which is the highest right now. But you can see on a scale of 1 to 12, today's an 11, tomorrow also an 11, but it looks pretty good. Nice shot. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. A few little cumulus clouds, but besides that, we look pretty good. Temperatures not bad as well. Cassville 85, we have 88 at Grand Lake. Pittsburgh sitting at 87. Neodesha is checking in at about 91 degrees. And look at our temps across the entire Central Plains. No extreme heat like we had seen over the past couple weeks, mainly 80s into 90s, but a slow warming trend as we go through the next couple days. Plus, our humidity is fairly low. Dew points upper 50s. So if we look at our dew point tracker, showing us the amount of moisture in the air, that puts us in that pleasant to not bad range, and that's where we're going to sit as we go through the next couple days. 89 right now, feels like 88. Northerly winds at about 10. If you want to get outside this evening, we slide back through the 80s, into the 70s, eventually lower 60s. Later on tonight, we do have a few little cumulus clouds. Besides that, not a whole bunch is going on here. Most of the Central Plains look pretty good. All right, here is Hurricane Idalia, or at least the remnants of it, weakening very quick. It strengthened to a Category 4 hurricane, then back to a 3 as it made landfall. Now quickly tracking across parts of Georgia into South Carolina, so you can still see that center of circulation near Savannah, Georgia. Very heavy amounts of rain is going to make its way back out to sea over the next 18 to 24 hours. Let's go through time for us tonight. Lower 60s, very comfortable night. You can actually open up the windows. As we go through the morning hours, we warm into lower 80s by noon. Once we get into the afternoon, upper 80s to near 90. Very similar to what we saw over the past couple days. 87 in Stockton, Grand Lake 91, Iola up to about 90 degrees. As we go through tomorrow night, again, we drop back into the upper 50s to near 60, so very comfortable. And then as we go into Friday afternoon, another nice day. It may be a hair warmer, high temps, most of us, upper 80s to near 90. Into the lower 90s once you get out across Kansas and the Oklahoma side. And then we'll drop back into the 60s again to kick off the holiday weekend as we go into Saturday morning. Day planner for you tomorrow, 62 to start, 82 by noon, 87 by 4. Plenty of sunshine, high temp, right around 88 degrees. We are going to be tracking this little upper level low as we go into the holiday weekend. Finally kind of starts to head toward us a little bit. This may give us a few showers by the time we head into Sunday and Monday. Until then, we stay dry. 88 tomorrow, 89 on Friday, 93 Saturday, 93 Sunday and Monday. So a little bit hotter for the holiday weekend. Some hit and miss storms Sunday and Monday. We need the rain. Increasing heat a little bit more into the mid-90s most of next week.
Look at that overnight low, particularly tomorrow night, 58 degrees.
58 is going to feel pretty good.
Yes, it will. Thanks, Doug. Coming up, what a new study shows about the ever-rising cost of ATM fees. Topping today's Consumer Watch, getting cash from an ATM is costing Americans more than ever. According to an annual study by Bankrate.com, the total cost of an out-of-network withdrawal has risen to $4.73, a record high. That amount includes $3.15 charged by the ATM's owner and $1.58 charged by your bank for going outside their system. Flight attendants at American Airlines have voted to strike. They're fighting for a new contract with pay raises and more staffing on flights. It's a good time to ask for it. Just last week, the airline reached a deal with the pilots that gives them a 21% raise and a 46% raise by 2027. The strike vote is largely symbolic because there are many steps that would have to take place before an actual strike happened. Manufacturing giant 3M will pay $6 billion to settle legal claims over its combat arms earplugs. Some military veterans claim the products left them with hearing loss and ringing in the ears. In a statement, 3M said the settlement is not an admission of liability and that the products are, quote, safe and effective when used properly. Sewing is making a comeback. Once considered a basic life skill, a skill learning to make clothes and other items has long been taken out of school and replaced with the convenience of in-store or online shopping. Well, now there's a new generation picking up the thread and needle. Reporter Danya Bacchus takes us inside a summer sewing camp.
Keep pinning and let's see what happens.
At this summer camp songs are replaced with the hum of sewing machines. And instead of games,
We're making a backpack. We need an edge, don't we?
kids here are playing with patterns and fabric.
Here you go.
Samantha Bloom and Amy Russell started Stitch Space LA nearly 4 years ago.
The goal of just having people learn how to sew, how to crochet, how to knit, and want to make things.
Sewing has seen a rise in popularity in recent years. Pandemic lockdowns, along with people choosing sustainability over fast fashion, has them turning to one of the original DIY skills.
There's been people out there who have been upcycling and refashioning and sharing their sewing skills, Instagram videos and those sorts of things, and watch people create, and then the influencers catching on to it.
Yeah.
I think that has been inspiring to a certain level for a lot of people.
Here at Stitch Space LA, they've seen an increased demand for classes. People of all ages wanting to learn or improve their sewing skills.
They're just to create like a freedom where it's like there are no rules. Well, there are. Like, don't sew over your fingers, and when you're not looking, don't put your foot on the pedal.
I love seeing things be created. I love, putting on a shirt and being like, I made this, and you just feel you feel confident, like I can do this.
It's confidence and memories these kids are designing.
We can make a scrunchie.
Yay!
One stitch at a time. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Amy and Samantha hope to one day make Stitch Space a national chain. Our pet vet on call next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, the ever-rising cost of school supplies. Then on KOAM News at 6, Missouri lawmakers pushing for exceptions to the state's near-total abortion ban. Plus, we're going to have more on how the community of Pittsburgh is getting in the spirit ahead of Pitt State's first football game. And students at Joplin's Royal Heights Elementary got a special visit from Missouri Southern football players. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. They include dogs, our cats, and every single one of us. Today, our pet vet on call has a fun fact for us about mammals.
There are several criteria to be considered a mammal. Number one is they give birth to live babies. They feed their babies milk made in the mother's body. They have hair, and they have constant body temperatures. But there's some exceptions. For instance, some fish lay live babies. The platypus, which is a mammal, lays eggs. Humans are hairless, for the most part, or bald. And hibernating animals, their temperature does change, it drops. So there are exceptions to every rule, and some animals just break the rules.
Those rule-breaking animals. We invite questions from anyone. If you have one, you just send it to petvet@koamtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question or brings us a fun fact every Wednesday right here on KOAM News at 5. You can also find answers to previous questions on our website. All right, let's check out our picks of the litter for the week. From the Joplin Humane Society, we have Aspen. The shelter says she's a female short-haired kitten, and a cute one. And for all of you Forrest Gump fans out there from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, we have Lieutenant Dan. He's a 5-month-old male mixed breed. If you're looking for a pet, why not at least check out your local Humane Society? Good night to take the pet for a walk this evening.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty good evening as we slide back through the 80s, 70s, eventually into lower 60s later on tonight, so you can actually open up the windows. 88 tomorrow. Tomorrow, Friday, very similar to what we've had over the past couple days. Overnight lows, upper 50s, and then 90s return by the time we head into the holiday weekend.
Temperature creeping up there a bit, but still tolerable.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.